I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Norwalk Shellfish Commission for Thursday, January 5th. It is 19:15 Eastern Standard Time. Has attendance been taken?
It has.
And I would like to entertain a motion for approval of the minutes of the December meeting.
So I would like to make one correction, Steve.
Oh, go ahead, Will.
It was on me. When I was reporting out for November, I actually said October. So make that change. It was the report from December was for the month of November.
So moved.
That's it.
Right. So
motion to accept the minutes.
Thanks, Nick and Jonathan, rather.
I second it.
Thank you. And all in favor?
All right.
And unanimous. Public comment. So we do have one attendee. Attendee, if you'd like to be recognized, please raise your hand. Seeing that the attendee has not raised her hand, we'll move on with the meeting and have the treasurer's report. Bill, please.
Okay, there were no changes from last month. The balance remains at $29,212.50.
Great, thanks, Bill. And did we cut that check for the harbor and shellfish boat enclosure for Bruce?
You know, I'll have to follow up on that. I don't think so. No.
Okay. Yeah, if you would, please, just let me know.
Yes. Okay, I will do.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Secretary's report, there will be none. Moving into committee reports. Again, Bill, Department of Health.
Okay, sure. For the month of December, the rainfall was 4.54 inches. Last year, it was 1.71 inches. And traditionally, it's 3.87 inches, or historically 3.87 inches. We did have 3 closures on December 6th, the 15th, and the 23rd, all due to rainfall. There were no reported bypasses.
Thank you.
That's in my report.
Thank you so much, sir. No one from wastewater treatment. The Mayor's Water Quality Committee, Chairman Schneerlein.
Thank you, Chairman Bardish. We just had our meeting, and what we worked primarily on was a discussion on MS4 that's coming up. That has to be submitted by the city once every year. And then also, along with that, what recommendations we wanted to add to the MS4. And then every year we try to make recommendations to the politicians in town. And we started off with working on the recommendations, which we will share with you when they're complete. But one of the ones that really concerns you all is PFAS, which is a chemical. I don't know if you all are aware of it, but it's a chemical that is found all over the place now. And a major concern is its effect on health. We know it causes all kinds of cancers. And so far, there was a conference on this in December. And so far, there has been no testing of shellfish as to whether it has impacted shellfish. We know it's in our drinking water. So if it's in our drinking water, we know it should be getting out into the harbor and then into the sound. But how much of an impact, we don't know. Now, there's several reasons for this. One is money. And 2, it is very difficult to do testing for PFAS. It's not done at every water testing facility. Dick Harris has been looking into this, and because he's works for Norm Bloom, and obviously he has concerns whether or not this is going to impact their shellfishing. And that is it, unless anybody has any questions.
Mr. Chairman, would you like to mention the attendees for your next month's meeting? They're kind of big ones.
Good thinking. Next month, we're going to have Peter Linderoth with Save the Sound and possibly 1 or 2 other people. And they're going to be discussing the Save the Sound report on the Norwalk Harbor. I expressed 4 issues with that. And I said, Peter, I can't abide by this, and these are the reasons why. And I felt comfortable doing that with Peter because I had trained him on how to do water quality sampling. And I don't doubt his sample results, but he did not test in the harbor. They went off of data from other people, and they did not record things such as migration of fish. They didn't record the effects of temperature on the dissolved oxygen. And all of you guys in this room, I'm sure you're aware of the fact that the warmer the water, the less oxygen there is, and that has an impact. And then also the more animals you have using that oxygen, the dissolved oxygen, also has an impact. So I kind of held Peter's feet to the fire, and he's coming here to discuss it because this is the second time in a row we got scorched. And the other issue that concerns the Shellfish Commission is the people who evaluated the data felt that our water was not clear enough for shellfish. Now, if you talk to shellfishermen, they don't want clear water because that means the plankton isn't there, the algae isn't there, and the shellfish will grow slower. And I have heard on more than one occasion Norm Bloom complaining that our water is getting too clear. Now that's in the outer harbor mostly where his shellfish beds are. But it's a contradiction of terms. And if you look at the fact that we have, I think it's 67 streams and rivers flowing into the north end of the sound, I don't know if any one of those rivers are clear when they flow into the sound. So you've got to have expectations for muddy water. So I pointed that out to him also. So he's coming to discuss it. If you'd like to be there, it'll probably be a Zoom meeting. You're more than welcome to log in. Thanks, Steve.
Thank
Good
you.
memory.
Thank you, sir. Permits are almost finished. I should have those over to you, Bill, for distribution and safekeeping of the maps as well. One thing we didn't move forward with were the tide charts. The last couple of years, our vendor did not contribute, and we were funding essentially the whole thing, including their advertisement. So I just want to leave it open to the commission to decide whether or not we'll continue with those or not for this year. Nick, Jonathan, any comments?
What's the cost of that?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately, Nick.
And these are printed tide charts that go to whom?
So they're printed tide charts that go to Fisherman's World and are handed out with a shellfish chart and the permit. And we've essentially subsidized the vendor the last couple of years through the pandemic.
I mean, I guess I would say just generically that tide charts are readily available online on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a weekly basis.
I agree.
Yep, sounds good. Okay. No worries. Norwalk Police Marine Unit, Sergeant Bisegli, please, sir.
Hey, doing, guys. Nothing new for us. It's been pretty quiet there, obviously, with the cold weather and the rain and whatnot. We have not gotten a notification to reopen the recreational thing. Is that still correct, or should that be open by now? Because we still have our red flags are all up.
Yeah, I haven't listened to the recording. Bill, you know any more?
I don't. Definitely follow up on that first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay, because usually we get an email about it. It's just been kind of a long time since we've gotten one from her to reopen it. So I just wanted to make sure that was still accurate before I did anything else with it.
The last one that I received was December 16th for for reopening. So, but then I think we did have some rainfall. It was closed on the 23rd.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it should be coming up, if not any day now. So maybe we'll follow up tomorrow.
Okay. Listen, I just didn't want to change anything before I had an official go ahead to it. It just seemed like a longer time than normal to hear back. That's all.
Okay.
So yeah, that's all I had.
Thank you, sir. Advisory, no one here from the industry. Pete's not here. Norwalk Harbor Management Commission, Mr. Stedman. Jeff, you're muted.
Sorry, Steve. I think your last meeting, I reported on the status of the Eversource project, and there's nothing new to report on that. We're anticipating submittals of some sort in the near future, both to the Siting Council and to DEEP and the Corps of Engineers. We've had no further communication from the Corps of Engineers and the Coast Guard regarding the status of the walk bridge permits. Although the harbor master has communicated with a person at the Corps of Engineers about the possibility or desirability of someone from the Corps or others from the Corps conducting a site visit or coming to Norwalk to review the conditions around the bridge. But we have nothing new to report from either the Corps or the Coast Guard right now. We're also looking ahead to the anticipated proposal to amend the plan of conservation and development to, I don't know what the precise languages they're using, but to endorse the recommendations of the industrial waterfront zoning study. And that includes recommendations for the marine commercial zone, which covers Water Street. So we'll be looking forward to that and providing our comments on that, the Harbor Commission. And then as Joe mentioned in his report, we're also looking forward to the getting a copy of the city's report having to do with the MS4 permit, which is the general permit that controls the construction of municipal stormwater infrastructure. So there's an annual report apparently that's required. The Harbor Commission will be reviewing that and making recommendations or comments. But those are the principal things that we're working on or anticipating working on in the near future. With that, thank you, Steve.
Thanks so much, Jeff. Really appreciate it. So that ends the committee reports. A motion to accept them as read, please. Thanks, John.
Motion to accept.
Thanks, Nick, and
Second.
all in favor is unanimous. Old business. I see we have Mr. Bajek on the line, Jim. On our agenda tonight, we have the RPA and 2 Woodland. So you want to speak to either or both of those tonight, sir?
Of course, Steve, sure. I know it's been on the agenda a few months now, so hopefully we can bring these to a conclusion tonight. On the Roten Point Association, at the last meeting, the commission members were going to stop by the proposed boat ramp extension site. And I wonder if that was done and if you've got any words to say about that.
Thanks, Jim. I know Commissioner Pagler did some research in this area. John, if you want to comment.
Sure. I went to both locations that were suggested, the calf pasture for the live sand beach extension and Roten Point. It was a little hard. I did it by boat, by the way. So it was a little hard to get the full perspective on it. I understand what Commissioner Bartash was talking about regarding a live sand beach. I've heard Jim, you mentioned that they kind of feel that wouldn't be sustainable at the Roten Point proposed launch site. So I guess I don't know how to validate whether it would be doable or not doable.
Okay,
that point?
I heard from the manager recently at the site, and this is just after the big storm that you all had. She said that all the sand and fine material that was there washed totally away, and it's just boulders there now. So, you know, the site just isn't conducive of, you know, having a ramp go halfway and then to the natural environment. You know, it's just not going to be safe.
So it might be unsafe until the sand was replenished, though, right, Jim?
Well, I mean, certainly filling in the voids with sand, you know, does help for some time. It's going to be a constant battle, though, to just continually maintain that.
Yeah, I go ahead, John.
Steve, I have a question for you on that. Is that in regards to actually shellfish, I didn't really see what difference there would be between sand and structure, because I didn't see any evidence of shellfish at low tide near the Calpasture Beach place. So curious as to kind of, with your experience, what you've seen in that regard.
Sure. So, I mean, an oyster set, for example, is ephemeral. I mean, one wouldn't expect at any given point to see one, and they're somewhat unpredictable. But in terms of the biology, the status quo would be favorable. Any safety or ease of launching issue notwithstanding, having the three-dimensionality and rocky structures would be favorable to shellfish over either system.
Yeah, I guess quantifying that impact would, I mean, I guess we don't have a direct answer for that.
Yeah, I mean, my main issue is just, I think it's a big step to pave over essentially the intertidal zone.
Well, I mean, this is an approved permitted ramp.
To the extent it is, but not longer.
It should have been permitted to be longer.
Should have been, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be my position to, you know, recommend some type of soft substrate. If the commissioners have some other proposal, obviously we can discuss.
I guess from what I saw and from the comments here, and I didn't meet anybody from the association, unfortunately. And remind me how long the extension is, Jim?
Let's see.
And Steve, I apologize that we weren't able to get there together. I would like to have done that.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, let me get to it. It would be 48 feet.
In addition to what it is now.
Yeah, 26 feet wide by 48 feet long.
And how far down the tidal path does that bring you?
Just barely past me low water.
Comments, Nick or John? Interested in a motion on the floor?
I haven't seen it. Maybe we should table it and have all of us go down and take a look at it, maybe come up with an idea, or
Okay.
just go ahead with what you're recommending.
Yeah, and Jim, are you in town or are you in Florida?
I'm in Florida.
Okay. Yeah, me
Still
too.
recovering from Hurricane Ian.
I bet you are, Jim.
Steve, are you local or are you down south too?
No, I'm coming back tomorrow. I've been down here for work.
Nick, I'd be more than happy to do that as well. I mean, I'm a little bit, I'm reluctant to vote no without a greater consensus amongst this group, and Steve has a pretty firm opinion, so I'd like to either be talked into that or
Yeah, well
refer to
taken.
people.
Sure. Well taken. Let's do that. I think maybe that's the best we can do tonight. And offline, let's compare our schedules so we can make that happen. For me, it would probably be this weekend. I don't know the tides. I'm kind of connected from that right now, or the second half of next week.
You should just check your printed tie chart.
Yeah, from 2020.
Jim, is that okay? I mean, can we, I know we've delayed this several times, but it's probably better than a firm no.
I know, but it's getting very frustrating that this just keeps going on. I thought the last time you decided to visit the site, and now you're deciding again to visit the site. And our client really needs this, if it's going to get permitted, they really need it for the upcoming season. So, you know, would either like to, you know, get the application submitted, at least so he can, you know, start looking at it. You know, if this continues, you know, on like this, we're not going to, you know, get any place.
It's my personal opinion that this structure is, I mean, I think it warrants as much serious discussion as possible, just because of what it is. I'm reluctant to pass this on and say that we could look at it a full application, because I don't think that method works very well, frankly. And I don't even want to give tacit approval to this again without better consensus to Commissioner Pagler's point. So I think that's the best we can do, Jim.
Okay, well,
yeah,
I have no control over, you know, what your committee is doing. So
understood. So Jim, I saw that you updated the 2 Woodland, and I read through that. I don't have a problem with what was put there. I mean, do you have any other suggestions in that regard? Otherwise, we can just move that forward with our standard language.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, now that we went back to filing or reverting back to the original 440 GP doc application with Deep, Deep is already, they're continuing to process the application. So I'd appreciate, you know, your letter of support to add to that.
Yeah, sorry for being a stickler just with respect to that information that was missing / not up to date at the time of the meeting, or at least to our knowledge. So
that's fine.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Yep.
On the agenda was also 3 Seabreeze that has been submitted per our findings of the December meeting. The 26 Valley Road, really nothing more to say because that is a certificate of permission. And other than our commentary, the Shellfish Commission plays no formal role like the Harbor Management Commission does. Anything else under old business? No. New business. Just quickly, the 21st of January is the annual or almost annual gathering of Shellfish Commissions. If anyone is interested in going, let me know. If you're not on the listserv, we can put in an application so you can go. I'm sort of reluctant to go because it's basically the same agenda of the last several years and is frankly pretty scientifically basic.
Can you say that date again?
Yeah, it's January 21st in New Haven. It's a Saturday. Yeah, I know Mr. Stedman will be going, representing another town.
I will check my schedule and see if that makes sense. It wouldn't be bad for me to get some of that technical.
Thanks. Let me know, John. Nick, you as well, please. Anything else for new business? No? Okay. The next meeting is February 2nd. Again, keep in mind the Mayor's Water Quality Committee meeting and their special guest at 6 o'clock that day. So unless there are any other comments, a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, John. All in favor?
Aye. We're going to stay on afterwards to discuss this meeting.
No,
No.
we can just communicate online. That's all, just with respect to our dates. I don't have my calendar or my tight calendar. I'll look at it. I'll try to compare it to my work calendar and see what we can do. This weekend.
Okay.
I can do. Yeah, so like Sunday morning, something like that, but I don't know low tide.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Happy New Year, all.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming, Sarge. Be
Night,
safe.
everyone.
Good night, guys.
Thank you.
Night.